I still remember that day like it just happened yesterday. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. And I was sitting in my small, quiet living room, sipping my tea. Everything felt calm, normal, until my phone rang. It was my son, my pilot's son. Hearing his voice always made me smile, but this time, it was different. There was a strange tension in his tone, like something had just shaken him to his core. "Mom, you won't believe this," he whispered, almost like he was afraid someone might overhear. I frowned, leaning back into the couch. "What is it, sweetie? Are you okay?" "No, it's impossible. She's on my flight. Not at home." His words hit me like a thunderclap. My heart skipped a beat. I froze, trying to make sense of what he had just said. Who was she? And why would he be shocked to find her on his flight? I tried to calm myself. My mind raced through all possibilities. Could it be someone he knew from the past? Or was it a stranger? The tension in his voice made my stomach twist. There was an urgency, a fear that I had never heard in him before. I grabbed the edge of the couch, my knuckles white, and whispered, "Slow down. Tell me everything from the beginning." He hesitated, his breathing shaky. I was just doing my routine checks before takeoff. You know, the usual. And then I saw her mom. I thought I was imagining it at first, but she's there, in first class, smiling like nothing is wrong. I shivered. Something about his words sent chills down my spine. I had no idea who she was, but the fear in his voice made it clear that this wasn't ordinary. I could almost hear the hum of the plane engines through the phone, the distant chatter of passengers, and the soft rustle of seatbelts. He was in the middle of it all, trapped with her, and there was nothing I could do from here. "What do you mean? She's there." "Who?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I can't explain everything over the phone," he said, his tone desperate. "I need you to trust me. And I don't know how to handle this, Mom. I've never been so scared in my life." I tried to picture the scene. The plane cabin, passengers settling in, flight attendants moving up and down the aisle, all while this unknown woman sat there calmly. But it wasn't just her presence, it was the feeling he conveyed, like danger was closer than anyone could see. My mind raced through questions. Was she a threat? Did he know her? And most importantly, was he safe? "I'm coming to you," I blurted out before I could stop myself. Fear for my son overrode any hesitation. "Stay calm. Don't do anything rash. I'll be there in a few hours. Just don't panic." He let out a shaky laugh, almost bitter. "Mom, you have no idea. This isn't just about me being scared. Some things wrong, very wrong. And I think she knows something about me, about us." I felt my chest tighten. His words hung in the air like smoke, invisible but suffocating. Okay. Breathe, start from the beginning. What did she say or do that made you so certain she shouldn't be there?" He swallowed hard. "Nothing. Yet, that's the worst part. She hasn't done anything obvious. But there's a way she looks at me, Mom. It's like she sees through me, like she knows every secret I have. And I don't mean normal secrets. I mean things I've never told anyone. Things I thought were hidden forever." My heart pounded. I didn't even know what to say. His voice, usually confident and steady, now quivered under the weight of fear. It was like a veil had lifted, showing me a side of my son I had never seen, vulnerable, panicked, and trapped in a situation he couldn't control. I need you to stay calm," I said, though my voice sounded weak even to me. "Just focus on getting through the flight. Keep your distance. Don't confront her. And call the authorities if you think you're in danger. Promise me that." "I can't," he whispered, almost in despair. "I don't know if they'd understand. This isn't normal, and I don't want to cause a panic. Mom, I'm so scared. What if she's here for me? What if she knows everything about our family?" A cold wave of dread swept over me. My hands trembled as I gripped the phone. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to see someone who knew your deepest secrets and was deliberately placed where you had no escape. My son, My strong, brave son was terrified and I felt helpless. I still remember that day. I whispered to myself as if saying it aloud could anchor me. That phrase always calmed me during moments of chaos, and I clung to it now, trying to keep a grip on reality. "Mom," he said suddenly, his voice snapping me back. "Are you still there? Don't hang up. I think she's coming this way. I can hear her footsteps behind me." I gasped. The image of him alone on the plane with her approaching made my blood run cold. My stomach twisted in knots and my mind raced for solutions. "Stay in your seat. Don't turn around. Look busy, like you're checking your equipment or reading. Just don't make eye contact, okay?" I can try," he whispered, barely audible. The tension in his voice was like a living thing crawling along my nerves. And then silence. It was too long. I could imagine him frozen, heart racing, waiting for her next move. My mind conjured images of a shadow gliding across the cabin. Her smile calm, calculated, knowing. And then the sound of a low, deliberate laugh that made the hair on my arms stand on end. I gripped my phone like a lifeline. "Son, whatever happens, remember, I love you. And you're stronger than you think. Just hold on. Please just hold on." There was a pause. Then, almost a whisper, I heard him say, "Mom, she just spoke my name. And she knows things. Things only I should know." My heart stopped. I still remember that day. The fear, the uncertainty, and the helplessness I felt as I imagined my son sitting there, trapped with a stranger who somehow knew him better than anyone else. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know if I could help him. But one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same again. And just as I was about to tell him to stay calm, I heard the sound of the plane door opening, soft footsteps approaching, and a voice that made my blood run cold. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. The moment my son's voice trembled over the phone, I felt a fear unlike anything I had ever felt before. My chest tightened and my stomach churned as I imagined him sitting there on the plane. A stranger moving closer, smiling like she owned the room. "Mom, she's right behind me," he whispered, almost holding his breath. I could picture him frozen in his uniform, gripping the armrest, every muscle tense, every nerve screaming. The low hum of the engines, the distant chatter of passengers, a soft footstep siege sound magnified in my mind, echoing terror across the miles. "Son, don't turn around. Just focus on your hands, on something, anything," I said, my voice shaking, trying to calm both him and myself. "Breathe, slow. You can do this." He let out a shaky laugh, almost bitter. "Mom, I don't think she's ordinary. There's something in her eyes. Like she's searching for me, but not in a normal way. It's like she knows things she shouldn't know. Things only we know. Things we never told anyone." A cold shiver ran down my spine. My mind spun with questions. Who was she? How could she possibly know things only my family knew? My son was careful, always private. And yet this stranger someone on a plane somehow had access to his life in ways that didn't make sense. "Can you describe her?" I asked, clutching the phone tightly. "What does she look like?" He hesitated, as if the act of describing her might somehow make the situation worse. She looks ordinary. Not scary. Not angry. Just calm. But that smile, Mom. It's not a friendly smile. It's knowing. It's dangerous in a quiet way. I shivered. The picture in my mind was simple yet terrifying. A calm woman, seated, smiling, while my son's heart raced beside her. I could almost see the plane cabin in my mind. The rows of seats, passengers settling in, the overhead bins clicking shut. And in the middle of it all, she sat, calm, confident, watching him like a predator. Okay, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Listen to me. You need to keep her in sight, but don't let her know you're noticing her. Act normal. Pretend everything is fine. Can you do that?" He swallowed hard. I think so. But Mom, it's like she's already inside my mind. I keep thinking she's going to say something, and she does. Every time I imagine her asking, she asks. Every time I imagine her moving, she moves. Mom, it's like she's reading me. I felt a wave of helplessness crash over me. I wanted to do something. I wanted to be there. But I was thousands of miles away, trapped in my own fear and worry. I could almost hear him shifting in his seat, the soft squeak of leather under his weight, the faint rustle of papers as he tried to distract himself, and the whisper of his own heartbeat in the cabin. Son, whatever happens, stay calm. Focus on breathing. Focus on surviving. You can do this, I said, trying to inject confidence into my words. And don't let her see that she's scaring you. She feeds on fear. He laughed softly, a hollow sound. Mom, you don't understand. She already sees it. She already knows. I can feel it in the way she moves, the way she smiles, the way she just sits there. A loud clang echoed from the galley. I imagined the stewardess dropping a tray, but I wasn't sure. The sound seemed to heighten the tension, stretching the distance between calm and chaos. And then I heard it. The soft murmur of passengers, the shuffle of bags, the faint click of heels on the floor. And then the voice I had been dreading, You're even more handsome than I imagined, she said softly. My son's intake of breath echoed through the phone, sharp and fast. Mom, she knows my name. She knows everything. Even the things I thought were mine alone, he whispered, panic in his voice. I could almost feel him trembling, his hands shaking as he gripped the armrest like a lifeline. I tried to steady myself. Stay calm. Don't respond. Don't give her any reason to engage you. Pretend you're busy with work, with your notes. Anything. Just survive the next few minutes. He nodded, though I couldn't see him. I could almost hear the tense nod, the inhale, the quiet exhale, the careful shift of weight in his seat. And then silence. I knew better. That silence wasn't peace. It was waiting. Waiting for her next move. Waiting for something to happen. Waiting to prove that she had control, Mom. He whispered finally, voice barely audible. She's coming closer. She's moving down the aisle slowly, looking at me. And I can't ignore it. My heart hammered in my chest. I imagined the steps deliberate, slow, haunting. The way she must have glided between the seats, her eyes never leaving him. Every step closer felt like the walls of the plane were shrinking, closing in around him, trapping him in a nightmare, son. Just keep breathing. Don't turn around. Keep your eyes on your hands. Anything. Anything to distract yourself, I said, my own voice trembling. You can do this. I know you can. Just hold on. I could almost feel the tension crackle across the line. My son's heartbeat, rapid and irregular, echoed through the phone. And then I heard it. The soft clearing of a throat. The whisper of a seatbelt being adjusted. The faint rustle of fabric as she came to a stop directly behind him. He swallowed. And I could almost hear the silence stretching between them, heavy and suffocating. And then she spoke again. Don't be afraid, darling. I'm not here to hurt you. Yet my blood ran cold. My son's voice, almost a whisper, trembled through the line. Mom, what does she mean? What does that mean? And that's when I knew this wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. This was planned. Every detail, every move, every word calculated. And my son, my brave, strong son, was at the center of it. I still remember that death, the fear, the tension, and the helplessness. I could almost see her standing there, calm, smiling, knowing she had him exactly where she wanted. And I realized nothing would ever be the same again then. Just as I was about to tell him to stay calm, I heard it a soft click, like a phone being pressed to speaker. A movement behind him and a whisper. Now, let's see how much you've really hidden from me. I still remember that day like it's etched into my memory forever. My phone felt heavier in my hand, my heart pounding with every word. My son whispered, I tried to breathe slowly, but it was impossible. Just imagining him sitting there on a plane with her so close made my chest tighten as if the air itself had become too thick to inhale. Mom, she's looking at me, he whispered, voice low and shaky, like she's peering into my mind. I can feel it. Every thought I try to hide. She knows it. Everything. I swallowed hard. My mind raced. This wasn't normal. No stranger, no random passenger could know him like this. His past, his fears. The small details that only family or close friends would know. And yet, here she was, calm, collected, smiling that same terrifying smile. Knowing more about him than I ever did. Son, focus. Keep your hands busy. Keep your eyes on something neutral. The notes, a magazine, the screen in front of you. Anything to distract yourself, I said, trying to inject calm into my own trembling voice. Just survive the moment. You're stronger than her. He took a shaky breath. Mom, I can't stop thinking about the things she's saying. Things she shouldn't know. Things from when I was a kid. Things I never told anyone. I don't understand. How does she know them? Who is she? I gripped the edge of my chair, trying to keep my hands from shaking. I don't know, sweetie. But remember, she can only scare you if you let her. Just stay calm. Keep your mind focused. You're not alone. I imagined him sitting in first class, the soft hum of the engines beneath him, passengers chatting quietly, and her standing there or maybe sitting moving with an eerie controlled grace. Every detail of the cabin became vivid in my mind. The glint of the overhead lights, the soft clatter of trays, the faint whisper of seat belts locking, the muted rustle of magazines. And in the middle of it all, her eyes watching, knowing, calculating Mom. She just asked me about Dad, he whispered, voice trembling. She said she knows the secret we've never told anyone, and that she's here because of it. My stomach twisted. My mind went back years. The quiet moments we had thought were private, the small, hidden family secrets we had never spoken aloud. How could anyone know them? And why would she be on his plane now, of all times? Son? Whatever she asks. Don't answer. Don't give her anything, I urged, my voice low, tense. Even if she says she knows. Pretend you don't. Just stay calm. Focus on surviving until you can get help. He swallowed hard, a shaky laugh escaping him. Mom, it's impossible. She already knows everything. She knows what I'm thinking before I even think it. And it's like she enjoys it. Like she's playing a game, and I'm the only one who doesn't know the rules. I shivered. My mind tried to picture the scenario. The stranger's calm, collected demeanor. The way she must have leaned back slightly in her seat, maybe adjusting her hair. Maybe glancing casually at him, but each movement deliberate. And the thought that she knew things about my family that no one should know. It was unbearable, son. Can you see her now? What is she doing? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She's smiling that same smile, he said. And she just pulled out a notebook. Mom, a notebook. And she's flipping through it like she's reading my life. Every name, every date, every detail. How does she have this? How did she get it? My hands trembled. I tried to imagine what was on that notebook. The thought alone made my heart pound faster. Years of careful secrecy, small family moments, memories I thought were private, all exposed in the hands of someone we didn't know. Someone who had invaded our lives in a way we could never have imagined. Son, just focus. Keep moving, even slightly. Don't let her see that you're panicking. Pretend you're checking your equipment, your notes. Anything, keep your mind occupied. You can do this, I said, my own voice shaking despite my efforts to stay strong. He laughed softly, bitterly. Mom, I'm trying. But every time I think I've hidden something, she smiles. And I feel like I've failed. And it's like she's testing me, seeing what I'll do next, and I don't know if I can pass. I clenched my fists, my mind spinning. You can pass, son. You've always been smart. careful, strong. Focus on that. You're not alone, even if it feels like it. I'm here. We'll figure this out. He swallowed hard. Mom, she just wrote something down. And she looked up at me and said, soon the world will know everything you tried to hide. My heart skipped a beat. The words echoed in my mind, heavy and sharp. The world. I whispered. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't understand it, but Mom, I think she's dangerous. More than anyone I've ever known. And I don't know what she wants from me. I tried to stay calm, tried to think clearly. Son, if she's dangerous, then you must be smarter. Don't engage, don't react. Keep your hands busy, your eyes neutral. Just survive this moment. We'll figure it out. A pause. Then, almost imperceptibly, the sound of her notebook closing. The soft rustle of paper. The faint click of a seatbelt being adjusted. And then she spoke again. Do you know why I'm here? Her voice was soft, almost musical, but there was an edge to it that made my skin crawl. Because some secrets can't stay hidden forever. And some people must pay for keeping them. I could hear my son's shallow breathing, fast and erratic. Mom, she's threatening me. But it's not just threats. She knows everything. And it's personal. Son, listen to me. No matter what she says, you do not respond. You do not react. Just survive. Focus. We'll find a way through this. And then I heard it. The soft click of a pen, the whisper of paper, and a voice that froze my blood. Let's begin. I still remember that day like it was happening all over again. My heart had never pounded like that before, not even in moments of real danger. The thought of my son sitting there on a plane with a stranger who knew too much about him consumed me. I could feel his fear as if it were my own. And I couldn't do a thing except cling to the phone, listening to every sound, every breath. Mom, he whispered, voice shaking. She's standing over me now, just standing, watching, smiling. And she said, let's begin. I swallowed hard. The words echoed in my mind. She wasn't just a passenger. She wasn't here by accident. Every move she made, every word she spoke, it was deliberate, calculated. She had a plan. And my son, my brave, careful son, was at the center of it, son. Whatever she does next, stay calm. Don't respond. Don't make any sudden movements. Pretend you're busy. Check your notes, your screen, anything. Just survive the moment, I said, my voice quivering despite my efforts to sound steady. He took a shaky breath. Mom, I can't. She knows me. Everything about me. And I feel like she's inside my head. Like she can see everything I've ever done, everything I've ever hidden. I shivered. The thought made my blood run cold. How could anyone have such power over another person? How could a stranger, someone who shouldn't even exist in our lives, know everything about him? And why was she here, on this plane alone with him? Son, focus. Keep your hands busy. Keep your eyes neutral. Don't let her know she's affecting you, I urged, my voice barely above a whisper. You can do this. You're stronger than her. You've always been smart, careful. Now is the time to use that. He swallowed hard, a shaky laugh escaping him. Mom, it's not just that she's asking me questions. Personal questions. About our family, about secrets I've never told anyone. And when I don't answer, she smiles that same smile and says, I know more than you think. My chest tightened. My mind raced. Every possible scenario, every potential danger spun through my head. I could imagine her sitting there, calm, composed, flipping through an invisible notebook of my son's life, each word precise, each movement deliberate. She wasn't just observing, she was testing, probing, waiting for the right moment to act. Son, if she's asking questions, don't answer. Even if she threatens, even if she says she knows. Stay silent. Do not give her power over you, I said, my own voice trembling. Focus on surviving. That's all that matters right now. Swallowed again. Mom, she just She just said something that made my blood run cold. She said, "Soon the world will see what you've been hiding." I felt my stomach drop. The words were heavy, sharp, filled with danger. "The world," I whispered. "What does that mean?" "I don't know. I don't understand, but, Mom, I think she's dangerous. More than anyone I've ever known. And I don't know what she wants from me." A low rumble of the plane's engines filled the background, mixed with the soft shuffle of passengers and the faint click of seatbelts. I tried to imagine him sitting there, trapped in first class with this woman, just watching, smiling, knowing everything about him. It was almost unbearable, son. Whatever she does, whatever she says, remember this: you are stronger than fear. You've faced challenges before and you've overcome them. Focus on that strength now. "Don't let her control you," I said, clutching the phone as if it were a lifeline. He let out a shaky laugh. "Mom, she just leaned closer, and she whispered something that made my stomach twist. She said, 'Every secret has a price, and it's time to pay yours.'" I felt my own breath catch. The words hung in the air like a storm, heavy and suffocating. I imagined the scene in detail: the soft lighting of the plane cabin, the hum of the engines, the faint clatter of trays in the galley, and her calm, composed, terrifying in first class, leaning just close enough to be heard, knowing just enough to terrify son. "You have to stay calm. Don't react. Keep your eyes on your hands, on your notes, anything to stay grounded." "You can get through this," I urged, though my own voice was trembling. He swallowed, his voice almost a whisper. "Mom, I can feel it. She's testing me. Every move I make, every thought I try to hide. She knows. And now she's reaching for my tablet. She's going through my files. Mom, everything. Everything I've worked on, everything I've kept private. She's seeing it." I shivered, my fingers tightening around the phone. My son's life, his career, his privacy, all of it in the hands of someone I didn't know. Someone who shouldn't even exist in our world. The tension was unbearable, son. "Whatever you do, stay silent. Don't react. Pretend you're busy. Anything to keep yourself safe," I said, my voice trembling. "We'll figure this out. I promise. Just survive the moment." He took a shaky breath. "Mom, she just smiled again. And she said, 'Now we'll see how much you've really hidden from me.'" I felt my blood run cold. She wasn't just observing anymore. She was about to take action. And my son, my brave, careful son, was trapped. I still remember that day, the fear, the tension, the helplessness. I imagined him sitting there, trapped, with her moving closer, every step deliberate, every word calculated. And I realized nothing would ever be the same again then. Just as I was about to tell him to stay calm, I heard the soft click of a lock, the quiet rustle of fabric, and a whisper that made my blood freeze. "Time to pay your price." I still remember that day like it was happening right in front of me. The phone felt heavier with each passing second, as if the air itself was pressing down, squeezing me with fear for my son. I could feel every heartbeat, every shallow breath, every tremor of panic he tried to hide. "Mom?" he whispered, voice trembling. She just leaned even closer. And she said it again. "Time to pay your price." My chest tightened. Those words weren't just a threat, they were a promise. My mind raced, imagining my son sitting there, trapped in first class, with this stranger so close. Calm, smiling, and knowing more than anyone should. Every detail of the plane became vivid in my imagination. The hum of the engines, the soft chatter of passengers, the distant clatter of a stewardess's tray, the gentle click of seatbelts being adjusted danter. Moving like a shadow, deliberate, dangerous son. Whatever she wants, don't respond. Do not answer. Pretend you're busy. Focus on something, anything. To stay grounded, I urged, trying to keep my voice calm even as my own fear threatened to overtake me. "You can get through this. You're stronger than she knows." He swallowed hard, and I could almost hear him shaking. "Mom, I can't. I feel like she's inside my head. She knows everything. Everything I've ever done, every mistake, every secret I thought was mine alone. She knows it all, and she's enjoying it. I shivered. The thought of anyone having that much power over my son was unbearable, son. You have to stay calm. Breathe. Keep your eyes on your hands, on your notes, on your tablet. Anything to distract yourself. You're not alone. I'm here. We'll figure this out. He let out a shaky laugh, almost bitter. Mom, she just pulled something out of her bag. A folder thick full of papers. And she said, every secret has a price, and it's time to pay yours. I felt my stomach drop. My mind raced, imagining the folder in her hands. What secrets could she have gathered? And more importantly, why? My son's life, his career, our family? Everything laid bare in front of someone we didn't know, someone who shouldn't even exist in our lives, son. Whatever she shows you, do not react. Do not give her any power over you. Pretend it's just paperwork. Focus on surviving the moment, I whispered. My hands trembling as I gripped the phone. He swallowed, his voice barely audible. Mom? She opened the folder and there's a list. Names, dates, places, things I never thought anyone could know. And she's smiling that same terrifying smile. My heart pounded. I could feel his fear, and it made my own blood run cold. Son, whatever she does, you stay calm. Do not let her see you panic. Pretend it's nothing. You can do this. He swallowed again, voice shaking. Mom, she said. She said, you've hidden so much, but soon the world will know. And you will pay. I shivered, imagining the scene in front of him. She wasn't just testing him anymore. She was controlling the moment, deciding exactly when to strike. I could almost see her standing there, calm, composed, holding that folder like a weapon. Every word precise, every movement deliberate, son. Focus, breathe, think about something safe. Your training, your skills. Anything to stay grounded, I urged. You can survive this. You faced challenges before. You're stronger than you think. He laughed softly, almost bitterly. Mom, it's not just strength. She knows everything I've done to protect our family. Every little trick, every hidden move. She's seen it all. And now she wants something from me. I don't know what. I felt my chest tighten. The thought of my son being manipulated, threatened, and trapped made my stomach churn. Son, don't give her anything. Don't react. Pretend you're busy. Stay calm. That's all that matters right now. There was a pause, and I could almost hear the faint rustle of paper, the soft click of a pen, the subtle movement of her adjusting her position. Then her voice, soft, musical, and deadly. Do you know why I'm here? My son's shallow breath hitched. No, I don't understand why. Because some secrets have consequences, she whispered. And you've been hiding far too much. Now it's time to face the results. I felt my blood run cold. My son, my brave, strong, careful son, was trapped. Not by chance, not by coincidence, but by someone who had planned this, who'd studied him, watched him, and now held all the power. Son, whatever she says, whatever she shows you, stay silent, stay calm. Pretend it's nothing. Survive this moment, I said, my own voice trembling. He swallowed hard. Mom, she's starting to go through the folder. And she's pointing to things. Things only I know. Things I thought were safe. And saying she exposed them if I don't cooperate. My hands trembled as I imagined the folder, the papers, the damning information laid out in front of him. Every memory, every secret, every part of our lives. Now in her hands, I could almost hear her soft, deliberate breathing, the quiet click of a pen, the rustle of paper as she moved closer. Her eyes never leaving him. I still remember that depth of fear, the helplessness, the panic. I could picture him sitting there, trapped, trying to stay calm, trying not to let her see his fear, while she controlled every moment, every word, every thought. And I realized nothing would ever be the same again. And then, just as I was about to tell him to stay calm, I heard it, a soft, deliberate whisper from her lips, meant only for him. Now, it's time to make a choice. I still remember that day like it was carved into my mind. The second my son whispered those words over the phone, my chest felt like it would explode. Mom, she just said I have to make a choice. A choice between things I never thought I'd have to decide. I gripped the phone tighter, feeling the tremor of panic running through my own body. My son, usually calm, brave, in control, was shaking, his voice barely above a whisper, every word dripping with fear. The hum of the plane engines in the background seemed to thrum in my ears, echoing the tension I could feel even from thousands of miles away. Son, whatever she's asking, you stay calm. Don't react. Just survive the moment, I urged, though my own voice betrayed my terror. Breathe, focus. You're stronger than this moment. He swallowed hard, his shallow breaths audible through the phone. Mom, it's not just a simple choice. She's asking me to reveal secrets, personal things, things I've never told anyone. And if I refuse, she said she exposed them anyway. Everything I've worked to protect. I felt my stomach twist. The weight of her threat was crushing. My son, my strong, careful, brilliant son, trapped on a plane with someone who knew every secret we had, every hidden fear, every private memory. And she was forcing him to choose. Son, listen to me. You have to think carefully. Don't let her push you. You control what you reveal. You control your choices. Stay calm. Keep your mind clear, I said, trying to give him strength I barely felt myself. He laughed, bitter and shaky. Mom, you don't understand. It's like she knows me better than I know myself. She's not just asking me, she's reading me. Every hesitation, every thought, every doubt. She sees it. And it's like she's testing me, waiting to see what I'll do next. I imagined the scene. Him sitting there in first class. The woman calm, composed, with that terrifying, knowing smile. Holding a folder or a tablet, flipping through details of his life as if it were a game. Every little move calculated, every word precise. She wasn't just an observer. She was a predator, and my son was trapped in her gaze. Son, whatever happens, remember this. You're stronger than fear. You've faced challenges before. Focus on your skills, your mind, your instincts. You can survive this, I said, trying to steady both him and myself. He swallowed again. Mom, she just leaned closer and said something. Something that made my blood run cold. She said, your choice will decide everything. And if you fail, the consequences will reach far beyond you. I felt my breath catch, far beyond him. My mind raced. What could she possibly mean? Our family. Our friends. The thought of danger reaching anyone we loved made my stomach churn. Son, whatever she says, whatever she threatens, don't give her any power. You control your actions, your words. You control your choices. Stay calm, I said, my voice shaking despite my efforts. He laughed softly, bitterly. Mom, she's giving me options. And each one is worse than the last. I don't know what to do. I've never felt so trapped, so helpless. And she's smiling, enjoying it. I can feel it. I shivered. The thought of him feeling helpless, terrified, trapped, while she orchestrated every move, every word. It was almost unbearable. Son, listen carefully. You have to pick the option that keeps you safe, that keeps your mind focused. Don't give her satisfaction. Don't let her win. You can get through this. He swallowed hard, a shaky laugh escaping. Mom, she said if I pick wrong, if I reveal the wrong secret, it won't just be me who suffers. She said it will affect everyone I care about. Our family, our friends, she knows how to hurt people I love. My heart raced. I could feel my own panic rising, but I forced myself to stay calm for him. Son, focus. Think carefully. You can survive this. You've faced impossible situations before. You're clever, careful, brave. You can do this. He paused. I could hear the soft shuffle of paper, the faint click of a pen, the quiet hum of the plane's engines. And then her voice, soft, melodic, but filled with an edge that made my blood run cold. Choose wisely. Every second counts. Your decision will shape everything. I felt my hands tremble, imagining him sitting there, trembling, trapped, with this woman leaning over him, controlling the moment, controlling his fear. And I realized she had him completely in her grasp. I still remember that day of the fear, the helplessness, the panic, and the unbearable tension. I could picture him, heart racing, mind spinning, trying to choose between impossible options, each more dangerous than the last. And I knew nothing would ever be the same again. And then, just as I thought my heart might burst from fear, I heard my son whisper, voice barely audible, trembling, "Mom, I think I made my choice." I still remember that day like it was happening right in front of me. My phone trembled in my hand, my chest tight, my breath shallow. My son's voice, once steady and confident, was now small, almost breaking. As he whispered words that made my blood run cold. "Mom, I made my choice," he said, voice trembling. "But I don't know if it was the right one." My heart skipped a beat. I imagined him sitting there frozen, clutching his tablet or notes, while the stranger, calm, deliberate, and terrifying, watched him with that same smile that had haunted me since the first call. The cabin seemed to shrink in my mind, the hum of the engines echoing every heartbeat, every second of suspense. "Son, stay calm. Whatever happens now, breathe. Focus. You did what you had to do to survive," I said, though my own voice shook. "We'll figure it out. You're not alone." He swallowed hard. "Mom, she smiled. That same terrifying smile. And then she said, 'Interesting choice. Very interesting indeed. But the game has only begun.'" I felt my blood run cold. The game. I tried to imagine what she meant. Every secret she had uncovered, every word she had whispered, every threat she had made, was part of some larger plan, and my son, trapped, was now entangled in it more than ever. "Son, whatever she says, whatever she does, don't react. Keep your mind clear. Focus on surviving. That's all that matters," I urged, though the tremor in my voice betrayed the fear in my heart. He laughed softly, bitterly, a sound full of tension and panic. "Mom, she just handed me a paper. Not the folder. Just a single sheet. And she said, 'Look carefully. One move, one word, and consequences will spread farther than you can imagine.'" I shivered. I imagined him staring at the paper, hands shaking, eyes wide, while she stood there, calm, composed, knowing every fear, every doubt, every thought he had. She wasn't just testing him anymore. She was controlling him, "Son. Focus. Don't panic. Look at the paper. Understand it, but don't let her control your mind. You're stronger than she knows. You can survive this," I said, clutching the phone as if it could shield him from her. He swallowed again, whispering, "Mom, it's instructions. Things she wants me to do. Things I've never imagined. And if I don't, she said it will affect everyone I care about. Our family, our friends. Everyone." My stomach twisted. The thought of my son being forced to obey someone who had invaded our lives, threatened our family, and manipulated him. It was almost unbearable, son. "Whatever she says, don't respond with fear. Do exactly what you have to do to stay safe. Think carefully, focus." He paused, taking a shaky breath. "Mom, she just said something else. Something worse. She said if you try to resist, the consequences will be immediate, and they will be painful for you. And everyone else?" I felt my chest tighten. I could imagine him trapped in that first-class seat, surrounded by strangers, while she stood maybe stood near him, controlling every moment, every decision, every breath. My mind raced with possibilities, each one darker than the last. Son, you have to stay calm. You've survived challenges before. You can do this. Focus on your instincts, your mind, your training, I said, trying to give him the strength I barely felt myself. He laughed bitterly, voice trembling. Mom, she just leaned closer again and whispered, your choice was clever, but now we see if it was enough. One step wrong, and the price begins. I shivered. My son's bravery, his calmness, his careful nature, now hanging by a thread, every second stretched like a knife. I could almost hear the soft shuffle of paper, the faint click of her pen, the subtle movement of her adjusting her position, and the terrifying calm in her voice. I still remember that Datha, fear, the panic, the helplessness. I could picture him there, trapped, forced to obey, caught in a situation none of us could have prepared for. And I realized nothing would ever be the same again then. Just as I was about to tell him to stay calm one more time, I heard it a low, deliberate whisper, full of menace and promise. Let the consequences begin. I still remember that day like it was happening right in front of me. My chest felt tight, my stomach twisted, and my hands trembled as I held the phone, listening to my son's quiet, panicked whispers. The words he spoke painted a nightmare I could barely breathe through. Mom, it's happening, he whispered, voice shaking. She's making her move. I can feel it. And I don't know how to stop it. My heart raced. Every nerve in my body screamed. Every thought filled with terror. I tried to focus on his words, trying to hear every detail, trying to understand what she was doing, what danger was closing in on him, son. Stay calm, focus, breathe, do exactly what you have to do to protect yourself. You're stronger than this, I said, my voice trembling despite my attempt to be strong. I know you can survive this. He swallowed hard, and I could hear the sharp intake of his breath, the shallow rhythm of panic. Mom, she's gone through my files, everything I've worked on, every contact, every assignment, everything. And she said she's exposing them. If I don't, the consequences, they'll start now. I felt my stomach drop. I imagined the scene vividly. Him trapped on the plane, first class, with her calm, smiling, deliberate, holding every secret, every private detail, every hidden truth over him like a weapon. The hum of the engines, the soft chatter of passengers, the faint rustle of paper, the subtle click of Pennzoil amplified by the terror in my mind. Son, whatever she wants, whatever she does, don't react. Don't give her the satisfaction. Just focus on surviving, I said, forcing calm into my voice. Think carefully. Stay alive. We'll get through this. He swallowed again, whispering, Mom? She's smiling that same terrifying smile. And she just sent something. Through my tablet. Messages, emails, secrets. Everything I've kept private. She's sending them to people who I can't even begin to imagine. My blood ran cold. My son, my brave, careful son, trapped, helpless, and now everything he had protected was being torn apart, exposed, unleashed in ways that could destroy lives. I could almost hear the soft click of his tablet, the faint electronic hum, the quiet movements of passengers around him, oblivious to the storm that had landed in first class, son. Focus. Breathe. You can survive this. Don't let her control you. Every step, every choice is yours. Stay calm, I urged, clinging to him through the phone. He laughed bitterly, almost broken. Mom, she said. She said it's just the beginning. That the first strike, the first wave, will show me how powerless I really am. And I can't stop it, shivered. The words hung in my mind like a storm cloud. I could picture him trembling in his seat while she calmly orchestrated the first wave of chaos. Every secret, every hidden truth now being released. The lives of people we loved, the people he cared about, the friends, the family. All exposed, all vulnerable, son. No matter what happens. Remember this? You are stronger than this moment. Focus. Stay calm. Survive. That's all that matters, I said, my voice almost breaking. He swallowed hard. Oh, shaky laugh escaping. Mom, she's watching. Every reaction, every panic, every hesitation. She knows. She knows it all. And now the first wave is starting. I can hear it. People reacting, people panicking. My chest tightened. I could almost hear the distant chaos, even though I knew it was miles away. Happening through the messages, the exposure, the secrets unleashed. My son trapped, forced to watch the consequences of his life and the lives of everyone he loved spiral out of control. I still remember that day. The fear, the helplessness, the tension so thick it felt like it could suffocate me. I could picture him sitting there, trembling, trapped, while she moved calmly, deliberately, controlling everything, orchestrating every reaction, every outcome. And I realized nothing would ever be the same again. And then, just as I was about to tell him to stay calm one last time, I heard it a whisper over the phone, soft, deliberate, full of menace. Did you think surviving the choice would be enough? I still remember that day like it was happening right in front of me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone, my heart pounding like it would burst from my chest. My son's voice, once strong and confident, now quivered with fear, panic, and exhaustion. Mom, it's everywhere, he whispered, barely audible. The first strike. It's spreading. People are panicking. Friends, colleagues, even strangers. Everything I've tried to protect. It's gone. My stomach dropped. I could almost see the messages, the emails, the secrets spilling into the world, into the hands of people who had no right to know, into places I couldn't reach. The chaos had begun, and my son, my brilliant, careful, brave son, was trapped in the eye of the storm, powerless to stop it. Son, breathe, focus. Don't give her any more control than she already has. Survive this moment. That's all that matters, I urged, my voice trembling as much as my hands. You can get through this. I know you can. He swallowed hard, a shaky laugh escaping him. Mom, she's watching. Every move, every thought, every hesitation. She's tracking it all. And she said the next wave will be worse. The consequences. They'll hit harder. And she's coming closer now. I shivered. I imagined him trapped in first class, the hum of the engines beneath him, passengers unaware of the nightmare unfolding, while she moved like a shadow, deliberate and precise, orchestrating every outcome, every secret, every personal detail, every hidden truth now exposed. And the next strike was coming. Son, whatever she says, whatever she does, don't panic. Focus on what you can control. Your breathing, your movements, your mind. Survive. That's all that matters, I said, my voice shaking. He swallowed again, voice barely a whisper. Mom. She just smiled that same terrifying smile. And she said, the final stage begins now, and only one path will lead to survival. My heart pounded. I could almost feel the tension in the cabin, the quiet shuffle of papers, the subtle click of her pen, the controlled calm of her movements, all while my son sat trapped, vulnerable, forced to obey. She wasn't just testing him, she was controlling him, manipulating him, pushing him to the edge. Son, focus. You've survived impossible situations before. You can do this. Stay calm, stay strong. Survive, I whispered, tears welling in my eyes. He let out a shaky laugh, almost broken. Mom, she's giving me one last option. And if I choose wrong, the consequences. I don't know if anyone can survive them. Everyone I care about. They'll pay. I shivered. The weight of her power, the threat to everyone he loved, the helplessness of it all. It was unbearable, son. Whatever she says, whatever she asks, you stay calm. Think carefully. You control your choices. Survive this moment. He paused. I could hear the faint rustle of paper, the subtle movement of her adjusting her position. And then, her voice, soft, deliberate, and deadly. Choose wisely. One wrong move, and everything ends. Are you ready? I still remember that day, the fear, the panic, the helplessness. I could picture him trembling, trapped, forced to make a choice that could change everything, while she stood over him, calm, precise, and terrifying. The world outside that plane was beginning to feel the consequences of her plan, and my son, my brave, careful, brilliant son, was completely powerless. And then, just as I thought my heart could take no more, I heard it a whisper over the phone, chilling and deliberate. Time's up. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. My hands were trembling, my heart pounding as I held the phone, listening to my son's voice, tense and wavering. Every second felt like an eternity. Every word he spoke etched into my mind with the weight of fear and hope combined. Mom, it's happening. The final stage. It's here, he whispered, voice trembling, yet somehow filled with a glimmer of determination. I have to decide now. I have to. I held my breath, feeling every word, every heartbeat, as though I were sitting beside him. Trapped in that first-class cabin with her, the soft hum of the engines, the distant chatter of passengers, the faint click of a pen, all of it became vivid in my mind. And then the quiet, terrifying calm of her presence, like a shadow looming over him, ready to strike. Son, focus. Remember your strength. Breathe. You've survived impossible situations before. You can survive this too, I urged, tears streaming down my face. Whatever you choose, stay calm, stay strong. You can do this. He swallowed hard. Mom, she said one last time, your choice will define everything. One wrong move, and everyone you love pays. I shivered. The weight of those words crushed me. I could picture him sitting there trembling, staring at the final decision before him, every secret, every fear, every hidden truth hanging over his head like a blade. She wasn't just testing him anymore, she was controlling him, pushing him to the absolute edge, son. Whatever happens, remember, you control your actions, your mind, your choices. Stay calm, focus, survive. I whispered, my own voice shaking. He took a deep, shaky breath. Mom, I've made my choice. There was a long, tense pause. I could almost hear the quiet shuffle of paper, the faint rustle of a folder, the controlled movements of someone orchestrating everything with terrifying precision. And then a soft, deliberate sigh, followed by a whisper that seemed to echo through the cabin and into my very soul. Interesting. Very interesting. You chose wisely. My heart leaped. Relief and fear collided inside me. Son, what happened? Are you okay? I whispered, Dot. He laughed softly, shaky, but full of relief. Mom, it worked. Somehow, it actually worked. She didn't expose everything. She left. Just like that. But she left a warning, said this isn't over, that I've survived today, but tomorrow, we'll see. I felt my knees weaken, tears streaming freely down my face. My son, alive, unharmed. At least for now. The weight of the fear, the panic, the helplessness, lifted, replaced by an exhausted relief, son. I can't even describe how proud I am of you. You stayed calm, stayed strong. You survived, I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. He laughed softly again. Mom, I never thought I'd make it. But somehow I did. I survived her. And we survived together. Still remember that Datha, fear, the helplessness, the tension that had gripped us like a vice. I could picture him, brave and careful, making the impossible choice, facing the unimaginable. And coming through it alive. I could feel the emotions, the relief, the lingering terror, and the overwhelming love for the person who had endured so much. And I realized something in that moment. Life can throw unimaginable challenges at us. People we love can be tested in ways we can't even imagine. But courage, love, and focus can carry us through even the darkest moments, son. Whatever happens next, remember this. You are stronger than fear, braver than doubt, and capable of surviving anything, I said, voice breaking. And I'll always be here. Always. He whispered softly, I know, Mom. I know. And then silence. A heavy, peaceful, trembling silence. I still remember that day. The fear, the terror, and the triumph. It was a day that changed everything. A day that tested the limits of courage. And a day that reminded me how fragile and precious life can be. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, no matter how impossible a challenge may seem, love, courage, and determination can help you survive even the darkest moments.